Okay, I think we should be recording. Let me close out some apps just to make sure that I don't have anything loading. And I should be sharing this screen. It's not quite 7. We'll start here in just a minute. This is Russ Jamison. It's the 30th of August. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. Again, I hope everybody can hear this. This is the instructor for LDR 300 Leadership, which is a foundational course for the University of Mount Olive. My name is Russ Jamison. I'm the adjunct faculty member for University of Mount Olive that teaches this course, plus other LDR 3 to 400 level courses. Today is the 30th of August of 2022, and it's 1900, 7 p.m. by my calculation. I don't see anybody joining us right now. That's okay. This is not a mandatory session by any stretch. This is purely for your use in case you wish to use it. You don't have to, and there's no foul and no harm. No harm, no foul, as the normal saying goes. All right, what I'd like to do is let me go ahead and just cover some basics of the LDR 300 course. In case somebody does join us, we'll ask them to sign in. This will be recorded, so it will come up and will be available to you on YouTube. Plus, I will have it posted here on your Moodle page. I'm scrolling down now on the Moodle page. You'll see LDR 300 Zoom session information. And then below that, you'll see the weekly office hour Zoom session shared video files. So that's where this video will go. All right, the Zoom session information. These are recorded and these will be available. So by coming on, I just want you to make sure you know that. You can see that we're doing course meetings at 7 p.m. on each Tuesday. Next will be Tuesday, September the 6th. Each week after that, leading up to the week 8, which is Tuesday, October the 11th. The link, just tap on that topic. That'll take you to the link. There's the meeting ID in case you want to go at it through, for example, your smartphone. That should work just as well. All right, let me come out of that and just kind of go a broad overview of the course. I know we've been at it now for a week, and everybody is doing pretty well. We have almost 20 students, so we've got a full classroom, if you will. Your text, I can put it up there, put it in front of my face, is the Richard Daft text, The Leadership Experience. This is the 8th edition. You will get this through Cengage, which is the publisher. You can get it through the bookstore. You can get it online. You can get it at Amazon. Most of you seem to have gotten the textbook, so no issues there. This is a very solid textbook. I recommend that you hold on to this textbook, not just for the entire course, but for all of your coursework here at University of Mount Olive or any other institution you may wind up. Put this in your professional bookshelf, on your professional bookshelf, and hold on to it. Hold on to yours for your entire careers and lives, if you will, I would just suggest. And the reason for that is that it's got the good foundation of the principles, theories, concepts, the basics of leadership. And you will find yourself referring to these time and time again. You certainly will need to do that over your coursework here at University of Mount Olive. This is your foundational course. And so those subsequent courses that you will get in LDR build upon this. So for example, leadership experience here has a chapter devoted to teamwork. You'll take teamwork in an LDR class. There's a section in this text that refers to conflict. You will take a complete course on conflict resolution with an LDR. When you take your case studies in leadership coursework, you will need to refer to this book because you're identifying in articles through the Wall Street Journal leadership principles, concepts, and theories that actual companies, actual protagonists in your articles, the CEOs or whomever, the leaders of that organization that you're reading about at the time, are or are not using. And so, and then of course, your LDR 490, which is your capstone course, you currently in that course, you read a book written by the former CEO of a nonprofit and the former CEO of a for-profit. And so we're comparing and contrasting the two organizations and going through the leadership techniques that both men use and identified in the readings. And this is a great way to do a capstone course because what it does, it allows you to more in-depthly explore the leadership concepts, principles, and models that you learned here in the leadership experience. Okay, so word to the wise: keep this textbook. You're going to refer to it time and again. If you at the most cannot do that, then I would suggest getting an electronic copy through Cengage, or if you go into each of the weeks, and I'm showing you again the Moodle screen, weeks 1 through 8, let's go ahead and click on week 2 since that's what we're in. If you scroll to the bottom of all the requirements, you will see PowerPoint for week number 2, chapters 3 and 4. And clicking on that file will allow you to access and download. It looks like it's automatically downloading PowerPoint presentations. You can see it doing it up in my upper right hand corner. I don't know if that maybe shows up as, does it show up the same on your screen? It should. Okay, that didn't quite open the way I thought it would. Okay, so we may need to go in there and fix some of that. Let me scroll and take a look real fast, see what is happening. Sorry about that. I thought I had this pretty well worked out. Let me go into week 1 and just see what happened. Anybody joining us? No, I can't see anybody joining us. All right, so there are the two files. All right, so that did work. Let's go to week 2 and see what happened there. Sorry if this clicking is going too fast and causing anybody any angst. Yeah, both files are there, so it should be easily downloaded. Okay, chapter 3, chapter 4. Okay. Anyway, so these are the PowerPoint files that come with the text and what you would normally see. If we were doing a seated class, excuse me, I'm a little dehydrated, so I'm going to drink a little bit there. I assure you it's not alcoholic. All right, so let's come out of that and let's take a look at, again, the Moodle shell here. Everybody has pretty well found the announcement section. This is where you will find things of interest to me. Last week, I had to cancel the Zoom session. I apologize for that. I didn't cancel it. I didn't conduct it because I didn't have the link for you. So again, that was my error, which I humbly apologize. And then you all had to go through the accepted syllabus. Everybody pretty much did that. There was a couple of you that didn't. And that happens in every class. But that is a University of Mount Olive requirement. And it ensures that there's no issues or questions on the course. It's as much your protection as a University of Mount Olive requirement, because this is essentially your contract with the school. For the money that you spend, this is what the school promises to present to you. All right, so you'll hold people on that syllabus and make sure that you take the time to read it and understand it. If you do not, certainly engage your instructor on it. The way University of Mount Olive works it's a little different than some other organizations, but not atypical of most. It's normally we issue the syllabus a week prior to the first course meeting. And but in all cases, certainly online, meeting dates don't really have meaning because it's online. You have to meet certain timelines, but there is no particular day that you meet, so to speak. So they identify Monday as the start date of that particular week. So, for example, LDR 300, which you are in right now, we started. What would that have been? 23rd of August. Yeah, 23rd of August. And we will go to Sunday, October 16th. So, week before the 23rd, you would have seen me posting the syllabus. And here you see it in the announcement section. And it only gives you a week and a half maybe to go through, but that's plenty of time. Okay, and then you got your week 1 assignment instructions, week 2. I really encourage you to read these. They are a little long, but you'll see they're formatted. And so it's all important information. Certainly nothing in there is irrelevant, but some of it is duplicative. And this goes through things that are and should balance your syllabus. In other words, chapters of the text that you were to read, questions to answer. Here are the discussion forum, when those are due. Okay, and I'll talk about those specific dates here in just a minute. Leadership practice. Okay, you'll have to forgive me. This particular edition of DAF's text changed the title that he had been using for years of these summary reports. In the past, the exercises were known as self-reflective exercises, and there's not self-insight reflective exercise. Now they are leadership practice, know yourself, and yeah, there it is right there. So I didn't get around to purging all of the self-insight timelines. In this particular case, it's still kind of fit. That's probably why I missed it. They are self-insight exercises. In other words, you are answering questions and identifying things about yourself as it relates to text concepts. And these are a little tough to get through. These are a little tough to answer. Sometimes you try to answer them based on the situation you're in, which is good because that is, in effect, contingency leadership. It's based on the situation, correct? And so what you have here is a situation where you may answer it based on the organization you're in now and the leadership practices you engage in now. It may be maybe an organization that you do part-time now, but you will be doing full-time later. And or you could base your answers on what you envision the situations you will be in the organization of your future, whether that's self-employment or whatever other occupation or field, I guess, or industry that you perhaps join, whether that's a for-profit or not for profit. Anyway, do the best you can. Okay, and the issue here is don't get too hung up on the situation, but just more explore yourself. Okay, and then see where you go. If you agree with the results, that's fine. That's perfect. If you don't agree with the results, that's fine. That's perfect. But be prepared to understand or to explain to me why you do not necessarily agree. See if anybody's waiting in the. No, looks like nobody's trying to join. Okay, again, that's fine. All right. So in the end, once you've got these done, you're going to send a report in to me summarizing that based on a bunch of specific questions that I raise. Okay. Information and concepts that enhance your ability to lead, help you create value, okay, in your career. And if you disagree, and you try to keep these, about a paragraph or two, try to give depth if you can. I don't grade based on words. If you can do it in 250 words per paragraph, that's not a whole lot of words. So you have to be very efficient and use some brevity. But if you can, then go for it. If it takes you 1,000 words, that's fine too. Don't feel like you need to fill up space. Again, be pointed in your response, but give some meaning. And as you do that, that's really what I'm after. I'm after what you have to say. Okay. The reason I give you kind of a word count, is to kind of give you an idea of how much time and effort you should be spending on this, basically, at a minimum. Okay. And again, at a minimum, you could certainly take more time if you desire, and I encourage you to, because this is your money. I often tell my students, education is the one industry many of the customers don't want their money's worth. Many are in school just to get the piece of paper, get the diploma, and all the trappings that entails. That's fine. I certainly understand that. It's cooperate to graduate. But if you're serious about spending your money, your hard-earned money on education, then that implies you want the most out of this. You want to learn as much as you can. And that's what we will do. Again, this is up to you on how much time you want to spend. We could keep it at the wave tops and just get through it. That's fine. My time is your time. But if you really want to dig deep, I would love to dig deep with you on this because I love it. This is a passion. Okay, and it's a fascinating field. All right, again, we'll go through some of the timelines later. Each week there is a quiz. Most of you found it and did very well on it. Some of you maybe not so well, but you still passed, which was important. These are not intended to be tricky. They're straight up questions. There's no hidden agendas in here. It is an opportunity for you to show me that you did in fact do your readings. You don't have enough time on this probably to hunt and peck and hunt and find all the answers. You need to have at least read the material broadly. And then, perhaps go back and have to reread some on it. And that's certainly encouraged. 20 questions, get about 45 minutes, which is plenty of time. You're welcome to use all your notes, your text, anything that you have, except you may not collaborate with other students in taking these quizzes. In other words, I want you to take the quiz, not answer it as somebody else has. There are functions within the quiz that prevent that a little bit. But again, this is an opportunity for you to at least show some of your knowledge of the material. And then I have this section here, not due this week, but a courtesy heads up. And this is where we get into the leadership paper. You see and visual aid presentation. There will not be any type of presentation for this course. That is predominantly what we do in the classroom setting, seated class, which we have not done for a number of years. I don't know if you've noticed, but most satellite campuses, what's plural of campus? Campi? The majority of satellite campuses have been closed. There used to be one here within a mile of my house here in Jacksonville that we used to use for seated class. And you would meet one night a week for 4 hours, which is a little bit difficult, but not too bad. And believe it or not, I think ran pretty good. I'm sorry to see we haven't done them. Those were shut down just prior to COVID hitting, and was more a function of student throughput and the costs associated, and just kind of a why are we doing it type of thing. So I hated to see it go, but again, that's people above my pay grade making that decision, and it seems to have worked. So certainly was well considered, I'm sure. Anyway, so in this paper, what's going to happen is you're going to take all of those exercises that you've been doing each week that we call the Know Yourself, the self-insight exercises. You're going to identify your greatest strengths and weaknesses or characteristics, and then those that you would like to change and how you're going to do it. And then what this process taught you. Excuse me, I couldn't spit that out. And that's all explained here. Okay, importance of effective leadership, how leaders can develop. 3 major concepts, okay, that you found of great importance. Any 3, doesn't matter which 3, you pick them. You'll find I'm a 3x5 guy. I think in any chapter, you should be able to pull out 3 to 5 main concepts that if I sat you down and asked you, hey, what did you get out of chapter 4? You can just bang them out. It's not unlike sitting and listening to the pastor talk at his weekly service. And I have to admit that years ago, I would get distracted and I'd start to daydream off instead of really sitting down listening. And I decided I would take notes. So I actually write notes as the pastor's giving his service and his message. And I try to find the 3 to 5 points that he or she was trying to make. That way, after the service, I could articulate, hey, I sat and listened, and here's what I got out of it. Before I started doing that taking of notes, if you sat me down afterwards and asked what the pastor say, I'm probably hard pressed to tell you. And that's a personal failing. It was something that I was not happy about, and that I needed to change. But the point is that unless we're actively reading, then we're just kind of in receive mode, and it's easy to be distracted. So, be active in your reading, understanding that you want to try to get something out of it. So try to focus in on, again, 3 to 5 points per chapter that you find of interest, or jump out at you. Okay. Anyway, in the end, that paper, you're going to pull 3 from the entire text. Go through your personal strengths and weaknesses as they relate to those concepts, and then talk about how you may more effectively employ your strengths while developing your leadership weaknesses. And then finally, talk about 3 methods you would use to help others improve their workplace effectiveness. So you see what's happened here is that you're going to do about 2 exercises per week. At the end, that's 16. Now, you only have 1 exercise for week 8, so a little bit less. But anyway, that's plenty to choose 3 out of. And you have already done some of your homework for this paper based on the summary report that you submitted. So you're free to use those summary reports that you submitted back in whatever week that was in your paper, but you're going to have to obviously expand and develop on this. All right, so timelines. Oh, and so that paper, you're basically writing now when you submit those summary reports, but your paper is due Sunday, last night of class, okay? And this time is solid. This is not going to be negotiable very easily. All things are negotiable, but that is the last day of class, and I have to have your final grade uploaded into Moodle by that following Tuesday. So I only have 2 days to grade all your papers. So if anybody thinks they're going to have a problem meeting this date for their final paper, we need to talk about it as soon as possible and come up with an alternative arrangement. All right. Otherwise, let's make sure we get them in. You technically can turn that paper in now. Okay. In other words, Moodle is set up that you can upload it, as soon as I'm done with this Zoom session, if you want. I don't think anybody works that far ahead, but you certainly don't have to wait until Sunday at 23:59 to try to upload. Okay. All right, getting back to timelines, when we do the forum discussion, I post these questions to you, I say by Friday. I think I'm getting them out on Thursday. You'll also see them in Moodle, so you can look ahead and see what the questions are. I do sometimes caution you, don't get too far ahead, because sometimes I go in and I have to change those discussion questions a little bit. But they're in there. So if you want to see what the questions are going to be for, say, week 8, you could go into Moodle and see them now. But anyway, I'll get these out to you on weekly announcement. It comes out on Thursday. And that following Wednesday night, no later than 23:59, I want you to do your initial post. You can do your post anytime. You can do them now. But I want you to have that initial post done by Wednesday night at 23:59. That allows all the other students to see what you have to say. I'll respond to you probably on Thursday. I typically will not respond to you on Wednesday night. I'll let you get your posts in, okay? You then need to individually comment on at a minimum, 2 other student posts no later than Friday of that week, okay? Can you comment on student posts as you're meeting that Wednesday night requirement? Certainly, if they've got it posted. Do I count a response to another student post on your page or your discussion a response? I do. But can you do more than 2? Absolutely. You can respond to everyone's. That'd be perfect. But this is part of your participation grade. Okay, this is your participation grade. And it's designed for you as students to help each other and engage not unlike you would in a regular classroom. Even in my seated class, even though I may do a lot of the talking, it is not lecture format. In other words, it is not just hush, sit there and take notes. It's let's engage and let's get through this. If you have questions, comments, concerns, agreements, disagreements, we deal with them on the spot. The best part is when you all help each other and come up with insights that we may not see, okay? And again, as is the case of leadership, 2 people will see a situation differently. You may not all see it the same, okay? All right, that's the discussion forum. Okay, leadership practice, know yourself summary reports. These are that self-insight exercises that I'm talking about. Usually 2 per week. Again, that comes out in that weekly assignment announcement I put out. These are also in Moodle. And I give you the warning right there that these will serve the basis of completing your leadership effectiveness paper. In 1 paragraph per. Don't spend a lot of time regurgitating the exercise. I've seen them. I've taken them. So you don't have to, tell me you got yes on that, no on this, yes on that. But you do need to tell me what you scored, what that means, okay? So, try to use the terminology that the text gives you. If it identifies you as task-oriented, then say, I've been identified as task-oriented. And then go in and give your experience. I want to see a lot of you in these. But I will tell you that you do need to at least include in that summary report some of the information, or at least allude to some of the information in that chapter that you read. You can use in a previous chapter as well. All right. But this is also designed to show that you did the reading and you've done some reflection on the information that you had in that chapter. Okay, so it stands to reason you would use some of that in your response. Okay, those are due on Saturday. Can you upload them now? You betcha. You can work ahead, no question. Can you do them on Wednesday night when you do your discussion forum posting? You bet. You do them Friday night? Absolutely. But by 23:59 Saturday, and the reason I did this 23:59 business, just so you know, is I used to say midnight, but that would confuse people, and now you would get confused. If I say midnight Saturday, what am I talking about? Am I talking about 00:00, which is Saturday morning, Friday night, or was I talking about midnight Saturday night, which is technically Sunday morning? Anyway, so let's just do that. 23:59 Saturday as an example for your reflective reports. And then I will respond. Okay, and then the quiz. I open the quizzes on Wednesday of each week. 20 questions, each worth half a point or 5 points. You get 45 minutes. Again, you can use your text, PowerPoints, notes. Just don't use other students. Now, again, some of you got caught on this. This one, I want you to have those quizzes done before 1500 on Sunday. In part because I use these to hold attendance. But that gives you what? Wednesday at noon to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that gives you 4 full days plus a couple hours to take the quiz, which should be sufficient time. Okay. A couple of you asked for extensions on that because we didn't quite get the time right or whatever happened. And I understand exigencies will occur. Contact me and then we'll make alternate arrangements. If it's a case where we just blew it off, then there is a penalty assigned. Okay, normally University of Mount Olive policy is you cannot do makeup. You read that in your course catalog and it's in the syllabus. But the dean has allowed his faculty, myself included, to exercise some judgments in understanding what happens. And we understand you're very busy. Okay, most, if not all of you, have full-time jobs. You have families. You're taking a full coursework, and life happens. But if you tell me that you missed the timeline, then I'm going to come back and ask you what happened. And that's not because I'm being mean or trying to be a dictator, but it's designed to more fully understand what you're dealing with. And if it's a case where something happened that was out of your control, then I think it's incumbent upon me to work with you on that, allow you to take the quiz at a different time without any penalty incurred, okay? But if it's a case where we just didn't do it, well, then now that's a different situation, okay? Certainly, if you don't tell me what happened and you didn't take it, then I record a 0 because you didn't get the work in. That's the only way you fail my course is if you don't do the work, okay? Even if you turn something in, you will get some points. But failure to turn in anything get you a 0, okay? All right. And then leadership effectiveness paper, we talked about that due on Sunday the 16th. Okay, so I have now gone on, it's 7:37. So I'm going to wrap this up a little bit and talk about, if you didn't see the feedback on your self-reflective summary reports on your leadership practice, know yourself. I gave you some general trends, okay? These were not necessarily aimed at you specifically. Each of you got this. It was designed to encapsulate everything that I did see. If these did not apply to you, then don't think they did, okay? In other words, if you turned your work in on time, then don't worry about it. You didn't lose points. I say it here. If you submitted late, then you lost points, okay? So if it applies to you, take it to heart. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Just understand that that's something that's been happening, okay? Some of you didn't quite use the format I wanted. We got through it. Everybody pretty much answered all the questions, which was good. Sometimes we don't have that. Again, time. I certainly encourage you to use some paragraph headers to identify your work. It makes it easier for you to organize your thoughts. It helps me in the readings. Answer the questions with quality. Show some depth and understanding of the results. Okay, I'm looking for you to answer the question, so what? And this is a leadership class. So how are these results going to help you as a leader? Okay. Use concepts and terminology that are covered in the text. Okay, these are marked requirements, meaning they're graded. They're allowing you to demonstrate what you learned. We grade you on that. Your grade determines level of mastery. A grade of A means you've done an outstanding job and have mastered the objectives of the course. Okay, so don't regurgitate word for word necessarily everything in the text. Okay, again, we want to see you in this, but certainly do use some definitions or terminology. Okay, If you feel a need to go outside the text for some of this, that's okay, but just understand that your go-to reference, okay, and what you're rated on is this, okay? So this text, that best be your most used reference, okay? And then proofread your paper. Don't just rely on spell check or some other device, Grammarly or whatever. You physically go in and reread your paper before you submit it, okay? At some point, I'll share with you some of these amusing words. So just suffice it to say, it gets a little interesting sometimes, and we all need to get better. I'm the one that has to as well. Okay, and then if you're missing work, we need to talk. Okay, so far everybody's doing a pretty good job. I've only had a couple of you not turn work in, and we'll figure out what happened. Until then, I hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate everybody's patience, and it's a pleasure having you in class, and I'm enjoying this. And if we don't have some fun with this, then we're doing something wrong. And I'm going to stop sharing this, and I am going to close out what we've done here. I hope everybody has a good night. I appreciate your time and attention, and we will continue to march. If anybody has anything for me personally, you can certainly contact me as part of what you've seen on Moodle, email. If there's an emergency, text. You can call me at 3 in the morning. I typically will answer, but I might be a little cranky at 3 in the morning. Okay. So let's just base the communication on timeliness of answer required. If it's an emergency, certainly understand text. If it's something that can wait a couple hours or so, email. I answer emails within 24 hours. And then again, here's a section here back on Moodle. Ask for help forum. Okay. This allows all the other students the same information. You could ask everybody. Okay. And I look at that. Okay. And this is again for routine non-emergency. And I kind of give you all this encapsulated right here. Okay. All right. Again, I hope everybody has a good night, and thank you for your time and attention.